Hey folks, Bill Armstrong here. This screencast is going to go over some of the important course documents. This would basically be what would be distributed to the first day of a face-to-face class. So first off, these course documents are going to be found at the Blackboard class site. And I have them all hidden here under the syllabus and schedule area. So let me click on that. And there are 5 documents here. They're all PDFs. The first one I'm going to go over is the syllabus. So I'm going to open the syllabus. So let's kind of go over this real quickly. First off, I'm going to highlight and point out what my email address is. Folks, that's the email address you need to use to send me an email. If you don't use this email address, obviously I will not get the email. I reply and I respond to email promptly. So if you send me an email and then 2 days have passed and I have not responded or replied to the email that you think you sent me, you probably used the wrong email address. So make sure you use the correct email address. My office, you see where my office is located. It's the B building, 3056. I don't know when my office hours will be, and I have this comment here. Office hours will be communicated to you once the college protocol is figured out in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So once the college figures out what the deal is, then I can let you know when my office hours are. Required course material, you're going to need a redemption code. This code can either be purchased at the Lakeland bookstore or you can purchase it online at digitaled.com. This site will contain everything for course delivery. It contains the e-text that we use for this course, all embedded videos in the e-text, exercises to practice. It also includes where the online quizzes will be taken and the online tests. The Blackboard site, the Lakeland Blackboard site, I am not going to use it for delivery of course content. Technology, you should have a graphing calculator. Let's look at the grading structure. The course is going to be worth a possible 600 points, and I'm going to go through it, each part here, how these 600 points are determined. First is tests. There will be 3 tests worth 120 points each during the semester. Now, the Lakeland Mathematics Department policy is all tests must be proctored. Well, that's something that's a little more difficult to do right now during the COVID-19 pandemic. So since all the tests I am giving you are going to be online, I'm going to put a time limit on each test in lieu of proctoring. And it should be plenty of time for you to take the test, whatever the time limit I come up with is. Your tests, you'll be able to complete them on any day once the test is open and available. You can take it up to and including the deadline dates. And all these dates are going to be shown on the academic calendar, and we will look at the academic calendar here in a moment. Your test questions are going to be very similar to the end of section exercises. And table 1 shows test coverage. So for example, test 1 covers assigned sections from weeks 1 through 3, and that will correspond to sections 1.1 through 1.5 and section 2.1. So table 1 shows you each test in the final exam and what will be on each test in the final exam. Some test notes here. Tests are going to be at the Mobius site. That's where everything is housed, all course content. Once they're available, you'll see it in the test area, and I'll go over all of this in a future screencast. Notes, text, formula cards, cheat sheets, whatever you want to call them, they are prohibited during the tests. The dates when each test is open and available, as well as the deadline dates for tests, are shown on the academic calendar. You can use a calculator, a graphing calculator for the test. And I'm mentioning again, deadline dates for each test are in the academic calendar. They're also going to appear in the weekly announcements. I am going to email you every Sunday. I will email you a weekly announcement, and I will, in the weekly announcements, reiterate any deadline dates that are coming up. Online quizzes and testing policies. Please read these carefully. I'll let you read through those on your own. The online quizzes. You're going to have weekly online quizzes, except for weeks when you have a test. And they're completed online at the Mobius site. And these quizzes will be in an area called quiz. And there's a total of 120 points possible for the online quizzes. So it's going to work out. There's going to be a total of 12 quizzes worth 10 points each. Each online quiz is due on the Sunday that it is assigned. And so its deadline would be at Sunday at 11:55 p.m. Each online quiz must be completed in one session. So if you start an online quiz, you must finish it at that time. And I'm going to give you up to 2 times maximum to do an online quiz. So you take online quiz 1 and say you get an 8 out of 10. You can figure out, you can look and see what you missed. And you have another opportunity to do the quiz to improve on your score. And then the final exam. There will be a 120-point final exam that will conclude the course. And of course, the deadline for the final exam will be on the academic calendar. So in Table 2, you see how the 600 points are determined. Each test is worth 120 points. 12 quizzes are worth 10 points each, and the final exam's worth 120 points. So that gives you 600 points total. Table 3 shows the grading scale that I use to determine the final grade that you will earn for the course. So on assigning course grades that you earn for the course, I'll let you, read through. You can read through that on your own. You can read through academic misconduct on your own. General course tips. First, the end of section exercises that are in the ebook, they are not collected. There's no grade given for them directly, but they give you practice. These end of section exercises give you practice for questions that you are going to see, very similar questions to that on the quizzes, tests, and the final exam. So I think maybe doing the end of section exercises on a section by section basis, is the best way for you to have success in the course. Keep up with the assigned sections and exercises. Don't let it build up. So, you're going to have a quiz due on Sunday. Don't wait until Saturday or Sunday morning to start all of the sections you should have been working on during the week that will be on the quiz. Do stuff during the week. That's what I mean when I say don't let it build up. If you have a question, specific trig question, send me an email. Again, there is my email address. That's the second time I've highlighted it. I do have something here called protocol for sending email that we will go over that in a minute. I have it in the same area. I don't know why I put course information area here. You can read the rest of the general course tips. Learning the course material. As you go through the course, I kind of have like this 6-step cycle of learning. And it will make more sense when, we look at the screencast where I highlight the ebook, the e-text at Mobius. But so, I say you start each section, you log into the Mobius site, you'll select whatever chapter and section that you're supposed to be working on. Read the e-text for the assigned section and focus on the objectives covered in the section. I have in the end of section exercises documents which objectives to focus on for each section. And we'll look at that here in a minute. While you're reading the assigned section of the e-text, each objective has a screencast video that I made that you can watch, and it discusses the objective. So you could read the objective, you can watch the screencast video that discusses the objective. That's all meant to help you in understanding the objective. Almost every section objective will have an example. Some have more than one example. Many times these examples will have a link to a video showing a worked out solution, and these videos are made by me. It's me at the chalkboard here in my house. I have a chalkboard in my basement for the example or for part of the example. So I encourage you, you can watch these videos as well. And then after examples, you're going to find a block of what are called quick check exercises that I might abbreviate as a QCE. So when present, these quick check exercises allow you to practice the concepts and skills that have been presented in the objective and the example. And at least half of these quick check exercises also have screencast video solutions to them. So you can see worked out solutions. And those are made by the co-author of the e-text. My fifth step in the 6-step cycle of learning is do the end of section exercises. So after you go through a section, looking at all the objectives, screencasts, examples, videos and examples, practicing quick check exercises, once you finish all of that for a section, then you're ready to do the end of section exercises. Again, these exercises do not count for a grade directly. They reinforce the ideas and concepts that have been presented in the section, and they most definitely will help prepare you for the quizzes and the tests. And then the sixth step, after you've completed all the sections for a week, then you're ready for the quiz. So go to the quiz unit and complete the weekly quiz. And of course, the quizzes do count for a grade. And then here's an acknowledgement of syllabus statement. I don't know what more to say about this. Looks important. All right, folks, that was your syllabus. Let's come back and I'm in the syllabus and schedule area. Let's now look at the academic calendar. So here's your academic calendar, and it shows week by week sections that are to be covered, sections you should be working on, deadline dates, deadline times, all that stuff. So, for example, week 1, you should be doing sections 1.1 and 1.2, and Sunday, August 30th is the deadline to complete quiz 1. Notice, week 4 I call test prep. You should be getting ready for test 1. On Friday, and I believe I'll open it at 9 a.m., test 1 will open, and that'll be the first time you will be able to take test 1. So test 1 will open on Friday, September 18th at 9 a.m., and the deadline to complete test 1 is Sunday, September 20th. And I believe I have the deadline set at 11:55 p.m. So, you have a couple of days in there that you can take the test. But you can't do test 1 before it opens. And, of course, you can't do test 1 after the deadline. So you should probably print out the academic calendar. Have a hard copy on hand because it contains all important dates, deadline dates. And you'll even notice on the second page of the academic calendar, I give a reminder on, each quiz, which sections are covered on each quiz, and each test and the final, and what sections are covered on, the tests and the final. That's stuff you've already seen in the syllabus, but, I'm repeating it here as well. So let me close out the academic calendar. You should also probably print out the syllabus and have a hard copy of that on hand. So now let's look at the end of section exercise list. So it says here, these are the end of section exercises. I do have I do have a typo sentence here. You know, you can just kind of ignore this last sentence. The answers are going to be readily available at the Mobius site, which we'll look at when I do a screencast highlighting Mobius. But this shows you for each section which objectives to focus on in the e-text, and then the end of section exercises to practice. So, for example, notice section 1.2. Only focus on objective 1 and objective 3. You don't have to worry about objective 2. So you should print this out and have a hard copy of it, because it shows you section by section objectives to look at and end of section exercises. And you want to focus on these objectives that I'm stressing here as you're looking at the ebook. So section 1.2, I'm saying just look at objectives 1 and 3. So you don't worry about objective 2. You can skip over objective 2. So this is the end of section exercise list. Let me close that out. The next document, protocol for sending email. Let's go over that real quick, folks. Notice the first thing I mention is be sure you have the correct email address. So this is the third time I have highlighted what my email address is. Please use your Lakeland email account when you're sending me an email. This quickly lets me know that I have a Lakeland student contacting me. If you're using a personal email account, and say your personal email is, sleekdime@gmail.com, that's not going to jump out at me as being one of my students. It could end up in a spam folder, but it won't jump out at me as being from a student. In the subject bar of the email, I'm asking you to just identify, Math 1700 online. That stands out even more for me. And if you could, when you start your email, if you could just identify yourself, say who you are and that you're a student in my Math 1700 trig class. Allow time for a reply. I will respond to email each day. You will receive a response within 24 hours. Now, if you send a message late at night or on a weekend, you're not going to get an immediate response, but you will get one on the next day at the latest. I check my email, several times a day. I will reply promptly. So sending multiple repeated messages, it doesn't help. I will reply promptly. If more than 24 hours go by and I have not replied, there's a good chance you used the wrong email address. Be cognizant of your writing tone. I guess this is true for sending email in general. Use complete words and sentences. Don't use texting abbreviations. And try to state your question as clearly and completely as possible. So if you have a homework question, for example, just state the exercise number. So for example, you'd say in section 1.3, exercise 23, we're asked to use the unit circle to find the exact value. My question is, how do I find that angle on the unit circle? That's, just let me know the section and the number, the exercise number, and, what it is you're having difficulty with. Okay, tips for entering mathematics in email. Folks, I really don't have any, magical document for you here. It's been an ongoing educational challenge for over 25 years, but we seem to figure it out. We will figure it out and we'll be able to communicate with each other. Everyone does it a little differently, so that's about all I'm going to say on that. So let me close the protocol for sending email, and there was I put an online orientation in here. Let's look at that real quick. So this is a welcome. I'm reminding you should print out the course syllabus. You should print out the academic calendar. You should print out the end of section exercises. And maybe you should print out the protocol for sending email. Um, I'm gonna email you each week, weekly announcements, and it's gonna remind you of stuff. I'm gonna remind you of sections you should be covering, end of section exercises you should be doing for each of the sections, and any deadline and due dates. So I'll be emailing those to you on Sunday mornings, and it's for the subsequent week. The primary way to get help, you feel free to send me an email. Again, there's my email address. I believe that's the fourth time I've highlighted my email address. I'm still waiting to hear from the tutoring center about tutors. Once I do, I'll give you more information about the tutoring that they're planning on doing this year in the COVID environment. I assume it's all going to be virtual or remote tutoring. But once I have something, I'll forward it to you to keep you up to date. Taking the test, we've already been over this. I'll remind you of when tests are open. I will put something the week of the exam, and I'll remind you in an email. I will open something on Blackboard. It's like the only thing that I would use Blackboard for is to maybe put like a study guide in there for each test. So what you should focus on. And quizzes, we've gone over quizzes. So I'm going to close out of that. So these are 5 documents. Again, it's in the syllabus and schedule area at the Blackboard website. One more time, there's something really important here in the course syllabus. But that's it for this first screencast. The next screencast I'll send you will be highlighting Mobius and how to use Mobius in the e-text. And that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.